right. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'm one of the yoga instructors here for Yoga for Caregivers. So, this is our weekly stretch session where we focus on getting into our bodies, stretching ourselves out, getting us ready for the rest of our day and the rest of our week. So, as we move through our postures today, let's keep in mind our boundaries. Notice, where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat? Or perhaps find that center posture. Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. Your legs can be crossed, they can be straight out in front of you. We're going to wiggle back and forth to root into the sits bones, and then we'll sit up nice and tall. Let's inhale as we draw the shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. Inhale as the shoulders come forward and up, and then exhale as they drop back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to close the eyes if that feels comfortable for you, or simply find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here today. If you were to associate a color with wisdom, what color would it be? For me, it's the color amber. You know, amber, the substance in which a mosquito was found, and from it came the DNA necessary to recreate the fictional theme park, Jurassic Park. It's that beautiful molten orange color. Amber as a substance has been prized throughout the years by many cultures. It was used as decor and to make valuable objects like jewelry. One of the qualities that amber possesses is its ability to preserve an exact moment in time. Insects from thousands of years ago might have been found entombed in amber in the midst of attacking prey or moving mid-flight. This is why it seems like amber is a fitting color for wisdom. Much like how amber absorbs and keeps whatever it comes across, we too collect wisdom in the same way. Good, bad, accurate, or inaccurate, we collect every bit of information that passes through our experience. And when combined, it turns into a wisdom that transcends our bodies, our youth, and lasts until the end of our time here on Earth. Thus, amber seems to be a fitting color to remember as we look within ourselves when choosing the next step on our path. Search for that nugget of amber and see what it holds. With wisdom as the theme for this practice, I invite you to notice what already resides in your own internal amber. As you move through the practice, notice if previously unseen bits of wisdom become noticeable as you hold them up to the light of your inquiry. So, settling in, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhaling that breath back out. Taking a deep inhale, fill the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you feel your belly expanding outward like a big balloon. And then exhale as you squeeze that belly button in toward your spine. Inhale as you feel the torso expand, the collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhaling air in the nose, down the throat, filling the lungs. And then exhale as you squeeze that air out of the lungs. Feel it move up your throat and out your nostrils. Continue to breathe here, inhaling and exhaling with intention, just noticing the movements of the breath. Now, if and when your mind wanders off on a thinking adventure, it's okay. Celebrate the moment you've gone away, and then turn back to the breath, turn back to the inhales and exhales. Now, if it's helpful for you, perhaps incorporating a mantra here to help you stay grounded and focused on your breath. Inhale, I am. Exhale, wise. Inhale, I am. Exhale, wise. Remaining here with your breath for just a few more moments in whatever way best supports you. Take another deep inhale here as you set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take another deep inhale here, feeling that intention with your heart and mind. And then exhale the breath out, setting the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Lovely. We're going to go ahead and come onto our seat. If you're up on a block, go ahead, or another prop, move that out of the way. Legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. We'll inhale, sweep our arms wide, bring them up overhead, cast the gaze skyward, and then exhale, twist over to the left, right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the body, curve your head around into a seated twist. Inhale, come back into center, arms tall. Exhale, twisting over to the right, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the body. Curve the head around into a seated twist. Inhale, back into center, arms tall. Exhale, twisting over to the left here. Nose curves around, shoulders shrug down. Inhale, back into center. Exhale, twisting over to the right. Long spine, staying rooted through the sits bones here. Good. And then inhale, return to center. Exhale, drop your left hand down to the mat, step it about a foot out to the left, and then lean over to the left, reaching through your right finger, seated side bend. So press into your left hand to keep your right hip rooted onto the mat. Feel those right ribs reach out to the side at that diagonal. Shoulder is stacked, bicep is over the ear, top palm faces the floor. Feeling that lovely opening through the side body here, up into that shoulder. Great. And then inhale, we come into center, switching sides, right arm down, step it about a foot out to the right, and then exhale, lean over to the right, seated side bend. Press into that right hand to keep the left hip rooted onto the mat. Feel the left ribs and side body reach out at that diagonal. Shoulder is stacked, bicep is over the ear, top palm faces the floor here. Feel into that lovely opening through the side body. Good. And then inhale back into center. Both arms tall, look up toward the sky. And then exhale, drop the hands, roll over the knees or kick the feet out to the side. Let's come into a tabletop position. So hands are beneath the shoulders, knees are beneath the hips, tops of the feet come down onto the floor. We'll inhale as we sink the belly, lift the head and the hips, coming into cow. And then exhale, lift the back, sink the head and the hips, coming into cat. Inhale into cow, sink the belly, look up toward the sky. Exhale into cat, press the mat away, feel the shoulder blades separate. Inhale into a nice deep cow, squeeze the shoulder blades together, feel that pull through the throat. And then exhale into cat, feel the chest move toward the thighs, tuck the chin, look back between the legs. And then inhale into neutral. Great work. Let's go ahead and inhale, bend that left knee, and then exhale, extend the leg straight out behind you, drop the ball of the foot down to the floor. Now you may want to step your hands about half a handprint forward, elbows slightly bent, and then exhale, press into the hands as you spike your heel away from the body. Now, take a couple moments here. Notice if that left hip is starting to float up toward the sky. If it is, square it with the mat. Elbows are slightly bent, shoulders are shrugged down, and check in with your back. If you've got a U back, like you're in a cow position, go ahead, tuck the tailbone, lengthen through the spine, look down toward the mat here. We're really going for a nice deep stretch through the back of that calf muscle here. Good. Core is gently engaged to help you keep that nice firm back to support you in this position. Couple deep breaths. Great. Inhale, come forward onto that right knee, and then exhale, sweep that left leg straight out to the side and drop it down to the floor. So your leg is out at a 90-degree angle. We're then going to sink our hips back onto that right leg and extend our arms long. Forehead comes down to the floor here. So now we're getting a gorgeous stretch to the inside of that left leg. If your head does not reach the mat, you can always stack your forearms or stack your fists, and you can use a prop like a block as well. Sinking down as far as you're able, again, targeting the inside of your leg here. Couple deep breaths. Great. Inhale, come back up onto the hands and that right knee, and then sweep that left leg straight up in front of you and come up into neutral. Now, you may want to have your blocks nearby, and we're going to bring them into our hands on the high side here. So, starting off in neutral, make sure that your left foot is far enough forward that you can see your shin clearly. I've got a nice obtuse angle here instead of that right angle. We're back to eighth grade geometry. I hope you were paying attention. So sitting up nice and tall, inhale, we lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, we sink into the hips, drop those blocks down, coming into our low lunge. So, a couple things, make sure knee and ankle are in line with one another. So, we're really protecting that knee joint. Pressing into those blocks so you're not going further than you're ready. We're feeling that gorgeous opening through that right hip flexor right now. You can always adjust the blocks. If you don't have them, hands can come down to either side of that foot or that leg and press into the mat. Keep yourself lengthened through the spine, chin slightly tuck if you're doing this modification. So, we're still getting that nice deep stretch through the front of that right hip. Notice where you are. Let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Excellent. And then inhale, shift your weight onto that back leg, straighten the front leg, flex the front foot. Maybe step those blocks forward or back, maybe half a handprint or half a step here. We inhale, lengthen through the spine, create that nice flat back. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, lead with the heart center, folding forward over this leg, coming into dragon. Oh my gosh. So if you are tight like I am, you are feeling every ounce of this posture. So pulling those toes in toward the shin, keeping the hips square with the front of the room. Avoid sitting back onto this right knee. Instead, keep that 90-degree angle in that right knee and focus on pressing the chest forward. You'll notice right away that that deepens the stretch. Now, you can use those blocks on a different height. You can get rid of them altogether if that's better for you. Notice what feels right. Let's take a couple of breaths here together. Great work. Inhale, come forward onto that front foot. Let's step the blocks out of the way for a moment. Bring your left hand to the inside of the left foot, and then heel toe that foot to the outside edge of the mat. Or if you're on a round mat or not on a mat, a traditional mat, just wider than your shoulders and your hips here. Okay. Now, notice how my hips are up in the air. I'm going to slide my leg back here, really lowering those hips down toward the floor, coming into lizard. So if your booty's up, go ahead and sink your booty down. So checking in knee and ankle, once again, finding that nice alignment here. Now you're welcome to stay here. We're going for a nice deep stretch in that left hip. Couple options. This left foot can roll onto its blade edge, that outside edge. If that feels good for you, great. If it doesn't, it's not a requirement. You're welcome to use props like blocks to lower down onto the forearms. Remember, you have three sides for your blocks, or you can come straight down onto the mat if that's accessible for you. We're really feeling into that stretch in the left hip flexor through the groin space and then somewhat into the front of that right hip as well. So wherever you are, shoulders are shrugged down, find some softness in the face. Let's take a couple deep breaths here together. And then inhale, go ahead, press your way on up onto your hands, move away any props that you might have been using. Shift your weight onto that right knee, sweep that left leg straight back, and then move that leg around in a couple circles in one direction. And then in the other, just releasing that leg, maybe bending the knee, noticing what feels good for you here. And then coming back into tabletop. So what we do on one side, we must do on the other. So tabletop once again, this time, inhale, lift that right heel. Exhale, extend that right leg straight out behind you. Drop the ball of the foot down to the mat. Again, you may want to step your hands half a handprint forward and then press into those hands, spike the heel away from the body. So again, notice if that right hip floats up toward the sky, see if you can square it down with the mat here. Elbows are slightly bent, shoulders are shrugged down. You're long through the spine here. Now, if you've got that cow back, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, engage the core so you have that nice flat back. And you'll notice right away how that deepens the stretch in the calf. Good. Couple breaths. Great. Inhale, come forward onto that left knee. And then exhale, swing that right leg straight out so it's perpendicular. Drop that foot down. And then exhale, sink your hips back onto your heel, elongate your arms. Forehead comes down to the floor. So now we're getting that nice inner thigh stretch on the opposite side. My right leg is out to the side here. Again, forearms or fists can stack to support your head. You can also use a block if that is better for your body. Really tuning into the sensation in that right leg. We're here for just a couple breaths. Excellent. Inhale, come on up onto the hands and knees. And then let's go ahead and sweep that right leg straight in front of you. Again, grab your props if you need and come on up into a neutral position here. So starting off, making sure that foot is out at a bit of an angle so you can see your shin blocks are in the hands on the high side to start. We inhale, lengthen through the spine, exhale, hinge at the hips, and sink right down into our low lunge on the opposite side. So once again, checking in, knee and ankle are in line with one another. Hips are sinking down, using those blocks for support, pressing into them so gravity doesn't do more work than the body is ready. We're feeling that gorgeous opening in the left hip flexor this time, really noticing that open, that counter posture, that counter stretch to what we were just doing on the opposite side here. And wherever you are, let's take a couple deep breaths. Remembering if you don't have blocks or if you prefer, hands can come down to either side of the foot. Just find that long spine so you're still getting the benefit of that hip opener on the left side. Great. Inhale, shift your weight onto your back knee, straighten your front leg, flex the front foot. Bring those blocks maybe back half a step. We inhale as we lengthen through the spine, nice flat back, and then exhale, hinge at the hips, lead with the heart center, folding forward over that right leg. Ooh, we are feeling it. Oh my gosh. So dragging on the opposite side, again, toes are pulling in toward the shin. We're pressing forward with the heart center. Shoulders are shrugged down. Avoid sinking back onto that left leg and instead just stay nice and tall, 90-degree angle, and allow the chest to do the work here, to do the pulling, so to speak, of those muscles to the back of the leg and into the hip. I'm feeling it. I know you are too. Couple breaths. Great. Inhale, come forward onto that front foot again. Blocks move out of the way. Hands come down to either side of the foot, but then bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe that foot to the outside edge of the mat or just wider than your hips here. And then sink the hips down, lizard on the opposite side. So once again, knee and ankle are in line with one another. That right foot can roll onto its blade edge if you prefer. Option, not requirement. You can use props to lower down onto the forearms if that is helpful for you, or you can work your way down all the way to the forearms if that's accessible. Remembering that with our hips, we often find a lot of asymmetry. So being gentle with yourself, as long as you're doing the posture on both sides, that is truly what matters here. So if you can go deeper, great. And if you can't, that's okay too. wherever you are, just a couple deep breaths. We inhale our way back on up onto our hands here. Shift your weight onto that left knee. Go ahead, sweep that right leg straight out behind you. Move it around in a couple circles in one direction. And then in the other, just loosening up that leg. Good. Again, you can bend the knee as feels good for you. Great. And then go ahead and make your way into a seated position. We're going to make our way onto our back. So if you need a towel off, grab a drink of water, put on socks or a jacket for final relaxation. Now is your moment. We will not sit up for the rest of our practice today. All right. So, excuse me, coming down onto your back, tucking the knees into the chest, wrapping your arms around your legs, giving yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. Practice well done. If you'd like, you can rock from side to side for a little roly-poly action here, massage of the back, but it's an option. It's not a requirement. Great. And then coming on into stillness, we're going to drop the soles of the feet down to the floor and make our way into final relaxation. We've got options here. You can remain like this. And if you have low back issues, this is a great option here. You can bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to fall out wide for reclined bound angle. You can extend one leg or the other, keeping the opposite foot in for a fallen tree. You can extend both legs here, allowing those legs to fall open for traditional final relaxation. Finding a comfortable spot for your hands here. There's no limit. It's really whatever feels good for you. You're also welcome to lay on your side, arm beneath the head, or on your belly even. Or you can return to a seated position and treat it as a final meditation practice. It's really whatever you want. This is your final part of practice. So I invite you to make your way into a position that feels as comfortable as possible for you in this moment today. And so as you begin to settle in here, tuning into the breath, start to notice those inhales and exhales, that natural rhythm or cadence that the breath takes on when you're no longer actively moving it. Feel the rise and fall of your belly, the rise and fall of your chest. And once again, notice here thoughts, noises, physical sensations. If they get distracting and they lead you on a thinking adventure, celebrate the moment you've noticed you've gone away. That's great. That's awareness. And then turn back to the breath, turn back to your inhales and your exhales. Now, if it makes sense for you, perhaps reincorporating that mantra we use at the beginning of practice to help you stay grounded and focused on your breath here. Inhale, I am. Exhale, wise. Inhale, I am. Exhale, wise. Remain here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments today. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know I'm watching the time and I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go, and just rest right here. When we practice with others, there is mutual support and the practice becomes easy. Bringing your attention back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And slowly exhaling that breath back out. Taking another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, move the arms and legs, gently waking your body up. And when it feels right for you, gently rolling onto one side, pausing there with an arm or a hand beneath your head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or your purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice that answer the question, why did I get on my mat? Take another deep inhale as you feel, or as you make your way on up into a seated position, feeling into that intention as we close out our practice together today. So finding your comfortable seat, rooting into your sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale as the shoulders come forward and up, and then exhale as they drop back and down. Hands find that comfortable position, whether on the knees, palms up or down, in the lap, or at heart center. Closing the eyes if you'd like. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you all so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this weekly stretch session with Yoga for Caregivers. Again, my name is Alexis Miller. I'm here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. So mark your calendars, set your alarms. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Yoga for Caregivers on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube, where you can get access to all of the content from volunteers like me and find community, like I spoke about at the end of this practice. So thank you so much for following along today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next practice. Bye.